Thanks for taking the time to review with us the importance of Senate Bill 209, the use of epinephrine autoinjectors for certain authorized individuals. This is Samantha and Lisa, and we are here to talk to you about the history and importance of this particular bill. Bill 209 provides a life-saving response to an individual with an anaphylactic reaction, especially to the ones that are unaware they may even have an allergy. This bill proposes to extend to the current legislation in place to include Good Samaritans and individuals with the appropriate training.
Anaphylactic reactions are responsible for 1,500 deaths annually in the United States from foodborne allergies alone. In addition, it is responsible for 90,000 emergency room visits also related to foodborne allergies. Prompt response and treatment to anaphylactic reactions is imperative for survival. Without EPI delivered promptly, it increases the risk of fatalities. Oftentimes, those affected by an allergy are unaware until the event occurs. By legislation expanding access to EPI autoinjectors, the annual number of fatalities related to anaphylactic reactions could decrease significantly. Dylan Mueller was an 18-year-old boy that died after being stung by a bee while he was working for a landscaping business in 2014 in Mishicot, Wisconsin. When Dylan was stung, no one had an EpiPen available for use, including the first responders that came to his emergency service.
In 2015, Wisconsin passed Act 35, which allowed businesses and organizations in Wisconsin to undergo the appropriate training to obtain epinephrine autoinjectors for emergency administration. The problem that currently still exists is the law continues to only allow qualified organizations and entities access to the EpiPen. This currently excludes many small organizations and Good Samaritans, which would include Boy Scout leaders, small local farmers, hikers, youth sports league participants, and other common people who are in contact and participate in settings with known allergens. With Bill 209, this would expand the law to allow prescribers to prescribe to Good Samaritans as listed above. They would still be required the appropriate training and competency prior to obtaining.
Dylan's parents have developed and brought forward to legislation Dylan's Law, or Bill 96, which did pass in 2015. Dylan's Law passed the Assembly Health Committee and the full Assembly. It has now been fully endorsed by the Wisconsin Association of Orthopedic Physicians, Surgeons, Wisconsin Medical Society, Wisconsin Academy of Family Physicians, Wisconsin Public Health Association, Wisconsin Nurses Association, Wisconsin Association of Local Health Departments and Boards, Pharmacy Society of Wisconsin, Midwest Association of Independent Camps, and the Food Allergy Association of Wisconsin. The intent of this bill is to provide a life-saving response to an individual with an anaphylactic reaction. The bill hopes to extend the current law to include prescribers to prescribe to Good Samaritans and individuals that have been appropriately educated and trained on the use of epinephrine autoinjectors, whom are in contact and participate in settings with known allergies.
There have been a long list of stakeholders that have taken an interest in this bill. These are all listed here for your review. It was interesting to continue to research and have been unable to find any opposition to this particular bill. As State Senator Luther Olson states, I am unaware of any opposition to this common sense legislation.
With every bill, there are pros and cons. If Bill 209 is passed, consequences could include, by having epinephrine autoinjectors readily available, could lead to an increase of accidental injections of epi. With accidental injections, it could lead to an increased heart rate, hypertension, and possible tissue death if injected into the wrong site. Individuals may also depend on the public for autoinjectors, instead of filling their prescription for epi autoinjectors related to the increasing cost of epinephrine. Lastly, increased use of resources related to the education on the use of epi autoinjectors prior to use. If Bill 209 is not passed, we will see a rise in annual deaths related to anaphylactic reactions that could have otherwise been prevented with readily available EpiPens.
The Department of Health Services continues to primarily be responsible for the review and authorization of the appropriate training programs that are required to become an authorized user. Each review does require several hours of time by an employee of Health Services Management, although it is stated that the additional costs associated with the increased staff time can be absorbed within the agency's budget. It was also interesting to see that there was no state fiscal effect, according to the Wisconsin Department of Administration.
Because every second counts. As registered nurses and graduate nursing students, we strongly recommend that Wisconsin Senate Bill 209 is passed. Bill 209 provides a life-saving response to an individual with an anaphylactic reaction, especially to the ones that are unaware they may have an allergy. This bill will just extend to the current legislation in place to Good Samaritans and individuals that have been promptly trained. As medical professions, we have a duty to promote do no harm. This bill has a good chance of passing legislation because it was presented at the right window of opportunity, after the death of Dylan Mueller. The community opened their eyes to the issue.
Here is a list of our references for your review. Again, it is important to remember every second counts. If you suspect someone is having an allergic reaction, please call 911 immediately. Please stay with the person until the appropriate help arrives. If possible, try to identify the problem or allergic substance so you can remove it from the area if needed. Once again, we strongly recommend passage of Wisconsin Senate Bill 209, and thank you for your time.